Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to go over that age-old question, what is ISO?
I've got a ton of gravel in my shoes, girl on my shoulder, heart full of blues, I'm in the dirt.
What is ISO? ISO is one of the three key components that we need to take awesome photographs. In no particular order, you have ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, measured in f-stop. We're gonna go over the other two in other videos, because this is just gonna be a real quick rundown of what ISO is. So ISO is just how sensitive your camera is to light. Now, the other two things are more of a mechanical process, meaning your shutter speed is how fast your shutter, it's how fast your shutter is, because it's about speed, okay? Aperture is how big the opening is to let light in. I think the best way for me to show you is to show you. So on the bottom here, you're gonna see three sets of numbers. You're gonna see the 1/200th of a second, that's your shutter speed. You're gonna see the f2.8, that's your f-stop number for aperture. The only thing that's gonna change in all of these comparison photos is the ISO number. We're talking about light sensitivity, right? So the amount of light sensitivity that you're gonna need in different situations is going to change. Makes sense. Basically, that means that when you're outside, you have an abundant source of light, the sun. So in this picture, the inside is over on the left-hand side of the screen. So we have shutter speed at 1/200th of a second. We have f2.8, that's your aperture. And then we have ISO 100. That's the lowest setting for most cameras. That's just your baseline. Okay, so that's when you're shooting outside, you have tons of light. It's gonna be great, okay? So ISO is the least sensitive. I'm sure there are cameras out there that can go below it. Now, at the same settings inside, there's not an awful lot that you can see there. Now, going from 100 to 200, you can see it gets really bright on the right-hand side for outside, and a little bit more bright on the left-hand side. Now again, the shutter speed and the f-stop haven't changed at all. So then we go up to the next one and you start to see more detail on the left-hand side, and you start to lose detail on the right-hand side because it's not properly exposed. And then again, left-hand side, you're starting to see it a little bit brighter. The right-hand side, you're losing. It's, what's that movie, Pitch Black, where it's just like so bright that like it's just like everything is overexposed, like severely, like wear your sunscreen kind of thing. So one of the things I want to point out here is as your ISO increases, you get more grain. One of the best ways that I remembered in the beginnings how to remember what ISO was is I see only grain. Look here, so you see in around the guy, mostly in the back, you see a ton of grain, right? You don't see it so much over here, but it is starting to just get blown out. So this was 400, right? You don't really see a ton of grain. You can see a little bit of grain, right? But that's okay, it's not too bad. And then 800, you see a lot of grain. Okay, 1600, look at that grain, it's just blowing out. That is nuts, that is crazy, that's bad. 3200, it's almost all gone on the right-hand side. And then we have just grainy mess on the left. Keeps on going, you can see 12,800. Your camera may or may not go up to this. And then 25,600. You can see how bright this is on my face. It's nuts. Even though I'm going over ISO first, it should be the last thing that you adjust on your camera. Kind of. The first two things that you should adjust for are aperture and shutter speed, depending on what you're trying to shoot. We're gonna go over that later, but basically speaking, if you want to shoot something that's going fast, you need to choose your shutter speed first. And then if you wanna do something that's still with all that really nice bokeh, that little blurriness in the background, that's your aperture, okay, primarily. We're gonna go over that. We're gonna go over that in other videos. So don't worry about those right now. ISO is just the digital sensitivity that you put your camera into. Since it's a digital one and not a mechanical one, like shutter speed and aperture, then you wanna make sure that that's the last thing that you change. Change your ISO last, unless you know what you're really doing. In which case you could do it however, whichever order you want, but I'm just saying. Yeah. At the end of the day, just go out, have fun, just take some photos. Just put the thing on auto. It doesn't matter if you're in manual and aperture priority, shutter priority, whatever, it doesn't matter. I know we didn't talk about those. Just go out, put your camera on automatic mode, and just go take shots. That's really all it is. Just go take some photos, you'll be good, okay? All right, awesome. Hey, are you going to tell them to like, share, comment, and subscribe? That's a good idea, but I mean, I didn't really want to get, like, it's just a nice little video. Like, if they want to subscribe, it's like an answering machine message. You don't have to tell people what to do. You don't have to tell people, hey, leave a message after the beep. Everybody knows to leave a message after the beep. Yeah, but I mean, still, you're supposed to, that's what it's YouTube. You're supposed to say, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that stuff. I mean, that's the rules. You don't go against the YouTube rules. I actually don't think it's a YouTube rule. It's just how you get more people. But even if they like it, they'll do it anyway. So, tester, 1, 2, 3, 4. ISO is one of the. That's it. Go home. No, listen. Go. Oh yeah, and be good to each other.